Woo! Good evening, good evening, good evening, good people. How are you? How are you? Thank you for joining me here for a special edition of Conversations with Taz. We continue with the Kirk Conspiracy. Like I told you all, it was the finale until we found more, because this seems to be the gift that never ends. Uh, we kind of touched on it a little bit during last night's podcast. I did take a snippet of it and put it out there. You know what? I've got to give y'all some light so y'all can see a girl. There we go. Um, Regarding, Erica Kirk and how the mask is starting to drop. When it comes to Candace Owens. But there's a bit more that we much need to discuss. Hey, Nightbird. Thank you for joining us over here. So let's see. I think we got. There might be a few duplicates in here. It's not intentional. Try to clean these up as much as possible. But let's start off with this one. It's a little short, but still poignant. We'll talk in 2 and 2.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's. At one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now? Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Quick question. Just spitballing here. Just spitballing. Why is she more upset regarding Candace Owens asking questions that need to be asked, and these questions need to be answered, than she is about the lack of forward motion in her husband's case? She was willing to forgive Tyler Robinson, who's being accused and put on trial for the murder of her husband. Now, I don't know how far this trial is going to get or how successful it's going to be, because remember, there was no autopsy. There's no ballistics. Like the things that you would need to tie a suspect to a crime to say definitively, yes, they're guilty. Yeah. You have allegedly parents that are saying, hey, the pictures that were circulating are not of our son. He's never been on this campus. If you remember, I pointed out that there was discrepancy where they were like, oh, his car was left behind, then his car was in this driveway, then his car was in that driveway. Like, the whole disassembled the gun, reassembled the gun, wrapped it up in a blanket, left it. Like, none of this makes sense. But why aren't you upset that no autopsy was done? Why aren't you upset that the crime scene wasn't taped off? Why aren't you upset that Turning Point USA has not turned over, presumably from reports that are out there, the footage that they took that day? Why aren't you upset that word on the curb is that witnesses that were there have been silenced? This is why we don't have additional footage. We don't have thousands of different angles. And early on in this series, I showed you a video of a person talking about what they witnessed the day that, Charlie Kirk got, a quarter naked, and they were being shut up. And once again, before they had all of the information, no security was sent to secure her or her mother, that by her unprovoked admission was in a treatment facility. But let's keep going through this. Let's mosey on through it, shall we?
How many kids did you guys want to have?
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
Oh, wow. I thought of that once. Just like whether it was meant to be or whether we'd get news like that.
I was like, oh goodness, that would be the ultimate blessing out of this catastrophe. So now when I see young couples, I tell them, please, don't put it off. Especially if you're a young woman, don't put it off. You can always have a career. You can always, go back to work. You can never just go back to having children. And they grow so fast and so quickly, but I was praying, both of us were. We were really excited to just expand our family.
Thank God you have the 2.
I know.
Thank God.
Boy and girl, I know.
One day they'll find out. Right now they're just, little loves. And one day they'll find out that they're Charlie Kirk's children, and they'll know what that means.
That tone was a little petty. They're Charlie Kirk's children. But you're right, Nybird. It is like a really bad soap opera. But not only that, I talked about this a little bit last night and yesterday. And some people were doubting or thinking that I misunderstood. No, I didn't. That clip was the clip that caused all the rumors, and for her to get hate from the white evangelical side of virtually every social media platform. Okay, because they're like, oh, how does she 8 weeks pregnant and he's been dead for 10 weeks? She said that they wanted more children, and that when she found out her husband died, she was praying that she was pregnant. Weird prayer. Weird prayer. I unfortunately once did lose a significant other while in a relationship. That was never my prayer. That was never a thought that came to mind. And especially when you already have children, whether with that person and you all were co-parenting, or you had children, they were helping you, or they had children, because getting through the day to day, starting that journey to find your new normal, no. And this is one of those things that sounds good and tugs at the heartstrings, but then the reality of those children that are born into those situations, they are, especially on TikTok, but they're all over social media, sharing their stories that they don't have to. They're educating the rest of us on how horrific their lives were. Those children that the forced birthers got to their mothers, those children whose mothers passed away in childbirth, whose fathers passed away, and their mothers found out after their fathers passed away. That yeah, she is a millennial. Jay Thomas. But I need people to stop romanticizing so many different things, because it's becoming beyond utterly ridiculous. Romanticizing. It really is. It really, really, truly is. It's beyond ridiculous at this point. Because no. And I'm glad it was pointed out, like, well, you all have the 2. Like, sweetheart, what was you getting pregnant again going to do? You're not even taking care of the children that you have right now. And before somebody goes, you can't say that she's a bad mother. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, your children are young. They know that daddy has. Now, first of all, daddy traveled a lot. So, a week, a couple days a week, you're not addressing it. Okay, fine. But I have yet to see these children at a service. around you. So daddy's not coming home and now mommy's not coming home. We know that they're not with the paternal grandparents. And your mother doesn't seem to be very motherly, so who's got them?
Country. But instead, we're so focused on who did what. Like, yes, we will figure all that out. Yes, this is a murder case.
You want to figure it out. It's a murder scene, all this other stuff. But before a full investigation, you said publicly that you forgive the person who murdered your husband. This wasn't after a conviction. This wasn't after, asking for forgiveness. No, nothing. And the only reason you're speaking out now is because far too many people are now not only withdrawing their subscriptions from Turning Point USA and the Kirk show, they're being vocal about saying that they've withdrawn it because you're not widowing. And yes, people grieve differently. They do. When my mother passed away, I had to put a pin in my grieving process. I had 4 children that I needed to help get through that because they were extremely close to my mother. I was helping my brothers and my father get through it. And I was the one predominantly handling death certificates, funeral arrangements, getting her stuff packed up, getting things to people that she wanted things to go to. Also, pretending not to realize the folks that were lying to me to get things of value of my mother's. But I wasn't calling and asking for privacy while being as public as possible at all times.
I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger.
This is rebranding. The looking up into the sky but never needing to wipe your nose or blow your nose, it wasn't working. It was losing that zeal. You're not pregnant. You didn't suffer a miscarriage. You didn't suffer a loss. You didn't. So now you need to come out and be tough and rough and gruff. And you need to appear to be fighting for justice finally for your husband. Okay. I'd say that that's way too little, way too late, but you like it, somebody will love it. Not quite sure who, but somebody will love it. But that's a rebrand. That's not justice or righteous anger.
I don't want you to have to talk about something that you don't want to talk about. I also don't want to be juvenile. So the juvenile part of this is the prurient digging in, and it's also doing something that I've done so far in this interview, which I haven't mentioned Candace Owens. I just didn't mention her name. And I didn't do that because I don't want to force you to talk about it if you don't want to. But everyone listening knows. And so after a while, I'm like, well, don't be juvenile. Everybody knows what you're talking about. And I'll be upfront. I haven't kept up with it. I don't know everything. I don't know all the accusations. It's impossible. It's impossible to keep up with. So in a lot of ways, I guess I am asking about something that we're not addressing. And I don't think that's fair to the audience. So I'm going to ask you this last question. Going forward, will you and the team address that going forward?
Nope. And there are people saying that she has unfollowed Candace Owens on Instagram. I don't know if she ever followed Candace Owens on Instagram. People assume that because someone is friends with someone's spouse that they're all friendly. No, that's not the case. Candace Owens seems to be literally outside of Kirk's sister, parents, etc., that really gives a damn about finding out the truth and trying to get him justice. And because for far too long, Candace has appeared more like the grieving widow, Erica needs a rewrite. She needs a rewrite. And we need a laughter break. I'm innocent.
Charlie Kirk's accused assassin, Tyler Robinson, was in court Thursday for a hearing about whether or not to let cameras in the courtroom for his criminal trial. Cameras were in the room for a lot of yesterday's hearing, and they caught Robinson smirking as he chatted with his attorney. The alleged killer's legal team wants to limit media coverage, but one person in favor of playing the proceedings out for the world to see is Charlie's widow, Erica. She previously supported the move in the hopes that it would help put an end to the online conspiracy theories surrounding her husband's death. One of the loudest voices there is Candace Owens, once a friend of Charlie's and an employee of Turning Point USA, who has suggested the U.S. government or Israel was behind the assassination and has accused Erica of, quote, using the exact same emotional strategy deployed by Black Lives Matter. Now, Erica has been on a bit of a media tour this week promoting her late husband's final book, and she addressed those conspiracy theorists and critics on Fox News.
If people think that I was just going to wilt away, I'm not going to sit in a corner and cry and be in fetal position. This is a duty to my husband, and it's an absolute honor, and I will never back down. And so my message to them is to stop.
Not a duty to seek justice for your husband. Because you would think one of his closest friends, if not his closest friend, and his wife would be coming together now. For a lot of people that may not be familiar, okay, hold on. Okay. Because they keep saying that, Candace Owens is a former employee of Turning Point. Candace Owens, this is coming from the Griot from May 7th, 2019. Candace Owens quit Turning Point USA after members demand she resign. Candace Owens, the GOP darling for the moment, has officially resigned as communications director for Turning Point USA, the right-leaning organization aimed at educating college students about free markets and limited government. Now, they position Charlie Kirk to be the free speech person, right? But here it says that TPUSA, their aim is educating college students about free markets and limited government. Okay. Candace Owens, the GOP darling for the moment, has officially resigned as communications director for Turning Point USA, the right-leaning organization aimed at educating college students about free markets and limited government, according to its website. Owens announced her exit plans in a lengthy Instagram post on May 1st, and her departure comes amid calls from supporters and members of the organization for her to step down following controversial comments she made in February about Adolf Hitler. While speaking at a London event to launch a UK chapter of TPUSA, she argued that Hitler was an okay leader until he tried to take his message of genocide global. They asked for her to step down, but I need you all to remember that in more recent history, people they act like they just discovered this as if this wasn't how they were educated about it previously. Translated into English versions of Hitler's speeches. And they were like, oh, it's not so bad when you hear it in English. It sounds so much worse than German. Baby, the words are still the same. If Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine, she said in response to a question about nationalism. The problem is he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everyone to be German. Not exactly what he wanted, but after that comment, several Turning Point campus chapters fired off a letter calling for her to resign, according to the Daily Beast. Turning Point USA is above this thoughtless and divisive rhetoric, and as chapters, presidents, and leaders of Turning Point USA, we will no longer stand idly by as they continue, they wrote in a statement. We don't believe Candace Owens to be the most effective representation for Turning Point USA as communications director or otherwise. Oh, well, first of all, y'all didn't want her there because she has a cooter biscuit, and two, because she has melanin. And you all are nothing but divisive. You all go after professors and educators that you don't agree with. Now, your information is generally wrong and inconsistent, but you still do it. You spread hate and rhetoric, and you enjoy racially charged tropes. Meanwhile, in her farewell post on Instagram, Owens described TPUSA as an amazing group that's fighting a so-called culture war on college campuses. Isn't it amazing that the same people who claim that there are culture wars going on always say that culture is to be shared except for what they deem to be their culture? I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. My dog is watching. My dog is watching Rick and Morty. And she's like sitting there judging me. Like I'm the problem with her not being able to fully enjoy Rick and Morty. She also notes both her excitement and sorrow over officially moving on from my role as communications director for Turning Point USA. In many ways, today feels like a graduation, Owens added. The Fox News contributor says she still plans to appear at future conferences for the conservative nonprofit organization and will continue to chair the annual Black Leadership Summit. But her focus will now be on pushing her Blexit movement, a platform she uses to convince more Black voters to join the Republican Party. My dream has always been simple, to wake up Black America, to turn the lights on within a community that has been used and abused by the Democratic Party for decades, she wrote in her Instagram post. Here is the thing. Did you even know that there was like essentially a Black caucus to TPUSA? Hey, Sabrina. Yeah, Rick and Morty. Hey, Tracina. Because I have not heard anything else about any Blackness with TPUSA. I hear a lot of I've heard a lot of disparaging things come out of Charlie Kirk's mouth until he was talking out the side of his neck. And here's the thing. Yesterday, I did a lovely story on one of the first, well, the first black cabinet member in the United States, right? He was a Republican. There are black Republicans that don't tap dance, that don't sell their soul. Black people, once again, are the American Express of people. We're everywhere you want to be. It's just a matter of they don't make it about their race as to where they stand politically.
Charlie Kirk's accused assassin, Tyler.
Okay. So we got that. And yes, and also when it comes to the accused assassin murderer, okay, let's stop sensationalizing things. I watched it. There wasn't a whole bunch of smirking and stuff like that. There was nervousness. Like, we're all the body language experts, and from my relationship from 1982 when I was in 3rd grade with my second, 2.5th boyfriend or girlfriend, I discovered that this like, come on. Like, we know when we're nervous that we have nervous laughs and we have like all of these different things. Like, come on. But once again, how successful is this trial going to be with no autopsy, no ballistics? Like, and all of the narratives that are going to be put out, are we now just going to lie in open court? Because where are you going to find the trans girlfriend that morphed into a trans boyfriend that disappeared and reappeared? Where are you going to find the family friend to come in and testify? What's the testimony you're going to get out of the parents, because it's been uncovered that you lied to us about their sentiment and their accounts of what happened?
Well, Erica finally mentioned Candace, and now the world can see the cracks in TPUSA's little empire. She said if anyone's grifting off Charlie, it's her. Just a few days ago, Erica held a memorial gala fundraiser, which is $10,000 per seat, with 1,000 attendees, and made roughly $40 million that day. In fact, I've never seen a woman this happy since their husband was taken out. Want to know another thing that gets even crazier? On Don Jr.'s Instagram, he's promoting Charlie Kirk's book, Stop in the Name of God, and he links below 45books.com. Right here it says $29.99. Add it to the cart, and then look what it says, products loved by patriots like you. You can get a book signed by Trump for $1,000. So Trump himself is profiting off of it. Erica Kirk has made 6 interviews this week, everywhere but with your kids. And I 100% agree with Candace. You gotta give up the Grieving Widow Act soon because you're a CEO. You can't just say, no one comes after my TPUSA family when someone critiques TPUSA. Because no CEO acts like that. It's not grief, it's a grift. Now watch how hard they try to come after Candace Owens. People are waking up, they're asking questions, and no one is buying this narrative anymore. We the people don't buy the Fed slop.
And once again, widow or not, whether your partner is deceased, alive, on life support, whatever, you cannot be more passionate about a business than you are your partner. She is a widower. And a widower due to gun violence, due to political rhetoric, due to lying. There are so many ways she could have gone with this that could have made things even better for her, that could have made things more lucrative. She's basking because, keep in mind, she came for money. She's got multiple degrees. She's been waiting to flex this and use them. If you go back through in previous episodes of this Kirk Conspiracy breakdown, we've gone over videos of her and Charlie talking. You can see the disdain. Like, I didn't really sign up for this. Like, this was supposed to be, this wasn't supposed to be how this goes. She got manipulated, or he got manipulated. I don't know. But she could have taken the stance of, let's actually lobby for gun reform. And the way things went and how people grabbed hold in the I am Charlie Kirk, she could have made good change. Number one. Number two, she could have turned this into, yes, we can have traditional values and be conservative women, but women, keep in mind, you don't know what life can spring on you. We need to be ready, willing, and able at a moment's notice to take the helm. Three, she could have become the ultimate working mom advocate and poster child. But no, and here's the thing, it is that slippery slope of, I call them pick me adjacents, and you all have seen them. They're the women that, yeah, I got it going on. Yeah, I got me a man that loves me, but you know, I'm the boss chick. But save me, I'm just a baby. But wait, I'm strong, and they can do it all. I bring home the bacon, but I need to save. Like, make up your fucking mind. Which one is it? Oh yeah, Tristina. And she already had 10 million raised for her to, make sure she could raise her family. And we touched on it a little bit the other day. Charlie Kirk already had a $10 million life insurance policy. He had set up shell corporations to make sure that his family was going to be okay. We have a weird affinity for throwing money at the already wealthy. And I don't like it when I have to agree with members of the Coontastic Coalition Commission.
Donna, welcome to the show. If you could please provide me your age and pronouns.
Wrong. That was one from earlier. Here we go.
Whoa, Erica Kirk shuts down the No, she didn't even respond to one of the conspiracies. She gave us emotion. She said, I'm a mother, I am a wife, and we never asked about whether she was mother or wife. We want to know if she is a CEO and a chairman. And a CEO and a chairman has to compartmentalize. A CEO and a chairman cannot respond to valid questions and critiques about finances, about shady actions that are being taken by people that require presidential pardons, people that are meaningfully asking why we are not getting a clear answer of what took place on September 10th. A CEO, does not get to respond and say, that's my family. That's the energy of what I would expect from a mother speaking to a teacher, which I was this mom, like, that's my kid. And I'll shut this down right now. That's my child. This is not a child. Turning Point USA is an organization, and Erica already had an uphill battle to climb. Like, that she had to climb this because, by the way, just because if this was Goldman Sachs and the president of Goldman Sachs or a managing director over at Goldman Sachs died in a horrifically violent way, the Goldman Sachs family might mourn for a couple of months, but they would have instantly had someone to replace that individual. And beyond that, they would have never accepted the public and the people that are investing money. They would have never accepted, well, he's gone, but here's his wife. She already had a hill to climb here, right? Like, this does not make you qualified because you love someone to take on their job. I am not qualified to do what my husband does. That's why I said I wouldn't want to be the CEO and the chairman of a company. Actually, there's a great clip of Jordan Peterson asking that very question. Like, why do women want to be? Like, why would you want to have? It's actually a lot of work and it's very stressful and it's a lot of numbers and you're crunching numbers and you have to be everywhere. If you want that, great. If you built the company and you're in the room like Charlie Kirk did, and you have proven to the public, like, hey, I built this company, I didn't even go to college, and I've been doing this for over a decade, as Charlie Kirk did, you've earned that street cred, So she already had a hill to climb because now they're saying, well, this is his wife, and so, that's it.
Is it though? Now, here's a great comment. She's going to learn that TPU is playing her. They will never let her run that. She forgets they hate women. They're using her. But that's the thing. Here's the thing. They don't hate women. Conservative Republicans and those of the Christian right, the new religious right, I need you all to think back to the last year's RNC. They had a woman who is a congresswoman standing in a kitchen selling the whole trad wife thing as she has a job. I need you all to think about the trad wife content. As a content creator, that's a job. And a lot of these trad wives, they're not wives. They don't have a wife. They sell you a myth. Keep in mind, we just discussed how Candace Owens was their communications director. A lot of the most successful positions that they have in these conservative companies are held by women. They sell the myth to the red pills. But here's the thing. Unlike previous generations, and I've said this even about racism, they're not letting them in on the lie so that they can join in and help with the grift. There is no way that someone who couldn't hack it at community college, someone who blamed Black people because they didn't know the order of operations in order to get into West Point, turned Turning Point USA into a successful company, had the forethought to take out a $10 million life insurance policy and create shell corporations. She came with the brains. She came with the money. She came with the network. It's no different than how everybody is focused on Trump and Epstein and Clinton and da-da-da-da-da, and not the true mastermind and the one who brought all of what needed to be brought, Ghislaine Maxwell. This is why so many people are kissing her ass right now. They will say, yeah, a woman deserves to be in the kitchen, blah, 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 blah. These are the same people that ascribe to the same ideologies of the same faction of the GOP that's getting behind DeSantis trying to pull a Governor Bull out of Arkansas and have his wife run for the campaign that he can't run. These are the same conservatives who the women actually run the households and run the show. There are more Mike Pences in the GOP than there are Trumps. There's more of them. Yes, she is serious, Jay. Hey, Jay.
I'm incredibly embarrassed.
The reputation.
We got all sorts of videos mixed in
Sir,
here.
we have not deported U.S. The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
So this is just, to me, I'm going to also let you know, they pre-recorded this. Obviously, I told you this yesterday from about 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. I have sources just everywhere, CBS News. The people that were in the audience I showed you were emailing me, and they had to do multiple takes because Barry wanted to read a prompter. These questions were pre-submitted, okay? And I would like to respond to this loaded question. What would you like to say? The podcaster Candace Owens, and I'm not even going to address and doing ballistics on YouTube. If you catch a bunch of views, they want to convince you that like you wake up and you turn into a millionaire. Building her business. What are you talking about? I already had this business. I was already at the top of the charts. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I actually did because it's so ridiculous. Okay. But she says, I'm lying. And Eric responds, and her answer to what do you want to say to the podcaster Candace Owens who is lying is stop. So Erica would like me to stop lying. And I would like to honor that, okay? I can only honor that if Erica is more explicit in terms of what I have lied about. What did I lie about? It's just incredible. There have this opportunity. The questions have been before. You could just start like going through them. Maybe they will. By the way, it's coming out on Saturday. Maybe I've made a mistake somewhere and I'm happy. I want to correct that, right? I'm not interested. My goal is not to tell lies. It is obviously plausible that I have made mistakes. I've reviewed these lists that we've put together and I can't find the lie, okay? The lies that I find are coming out of Turning Point USA. Okay, and here are some of those lies. You know, Mikey had blood all over him. Okay, Mikey has offered that his dad was confused. I'll accept that. Well, I didn't lie about that. Rob McCoy lied. His father also said he called his father first. Maybe Rob McCoy was confused. Mikey being a hero for walking away doesn't feel honest. Charlie's neck stopping a 30-06 bullet because he ate healthy and had strong bones. It was a modern day Christian miracle. That feels like a pretty big lie. Okay. Charlie never wavered in his support for Israel was a nasty lie. Maybe Barry want to prep. Like, what do you want to say to the people that literally lied about what Charlie was living through in the last weeks of his life? Stop, Josh Hammer. Stop, Bibi Netanyahu. No, I'm sorry. Barry Weiss is here. We're not going to get to that. Charlie was a committed evangelical who only liked Catholic architecture. Did I lie about that? Nope. Turning Point USA lied about that. And I was attacked for telling me, I'm attacked for catching the lies. We'll get to that later. That's their new method. Once first they accuse me of lying, then I prove I'm not lying. And then their strategy is to attack me for telling the truth and saying, how dare you reveal a personal text message to defend yourself from being called a liar.
Why not clarify what you believe is a lie? Why is a non-spouse, a non-family member questioning and fighting for justice more than the spouse?
There's been a back and forth now between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens. And I want to ask you guys about the politics of this, the politics of it, and also the politics of Israel, because those two things right now are dividing the conservative movement and some inside of it. And now it's gone beyond the back and forth between like a Candace and the Turning Point group into this is going to cost us the midterms. The midterms, you guys are the politics experts. So I'm going to set up the underlying argument on which you do not need to opine, but I'm going to ask you for your take on the politics of it. So for the audience, here is what happened. Something extraordinary happened yesterday. And just FYI, I am going to have more to say very soon on what's happening between Erica Kirk and Turning Point on the one hand and Candace on the other. Not today, but very soon. And I have my reasons for that. So Erica went on with Harris Faulkner yesterday in, again, promoting Charlie's book. And she said the thing that Candace had said from the beginning Candace needed to hear in order to stop with blaming Turning Point for Charlie's assassination. For the listening audience, we have a man in custody for the Charlie Kirk assassination. His name is Tyler Robinson. He will be in court today in a couple of hours on a hearing about whether and what access the media should have to this trial. We'll be covering that for you tomorrow. And Erica, as fired up as I've seen her on this, clearly addressed Candace directly without saying her name. And I know for a fact this was an address to Candace, and Candace knew it too because she responded to it. Here is Erica Kirk. This is how Erica teed it up. Let's start with SOT 9. SOT 9.
But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus.
It's not a mind virus. You're saying you're upset because people are coming after your family, your Charlie Kirk show family, your Turning Point USA family, but they took a member of your family away, and you're not upset about that. You're grinning ear to ear as those deposits come in, as those transfers come in, as those checks clear. Now I'm going to say something. As someone who has suffered multiple losses this year, including a big loss of income and an income stream, I would give up the income that I do have in any prospect of donation to have those that I lost back. But I need you all to realize she cannot play the grieving widow for a very long time because of how she started off in her playing the widow. She didn't allow for a natural progression. She has saturated the media with her presence. Okay. So now she needs to find a new way to victimize herself. She needs to perpetually remind you all that she is the eugenics standard default damsel in distress, and you should feel compelled to protect her. And by you, this is everyone. This is everyone. She needs her Bullwinkle moment. She does. That's what she needs. Because she has the intellect, she has the drive, she has the resume, she has the experience to be a CEO. And even in previous videos, you heard Candace like, well, why would a woman want to be a CEO? As Candace is a CEO. They always try to downplay what they do as women for the sake of the egos of men that they have to lead around by their collars.
Candace Owens just went off on Erica Kirk. I wasn't sure about Erica. I was waiting kind of a situation for her to be in, obviously having lost her husband, becoming the CEO and the chairman of a company. It's just a lot of transition, and it's nice to wait for more information before you prejudge or just assume, make an assumption about somebody, and maybe it's not based in reality. Well, we are getting a lot more of Erica Kirk this week. I'll tell you that, because she has been doing the rounds in the media really over the last couple of weeks, and she just gave an interview live with Harris Faulkner on Fox News, where she finally addressed the quote-unquote conspiracy theories. And I have to say this because it's true, but it completely missed the mark. For me, I am sorry, it just has. But the good news is that she begins by addressing the question, which has been in the air, regarding where Charlie Kirk is buried. That question resurfaced this week in a big way because Milo Yiannopoulos and a few others have asserted with absolute certainty that Charlie has not yet been buried. That's what they're saying. They say they have proof of that. And at first, Harris Faulkner is asking about that claim. Take a listen.
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that people are trying to guess where Charlie is.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? I have one thing. Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing.
You don't get to pick and choose when you want privacy and when you don't want privacy. And subjectively, as it, in the matter of Erica Kirk, this is the same person who had somebody record her over Charlie Kirk's casket. That was not our business, truly. And I can say that decision was made by her, and there is, some credence to the claim that everybody grieves differently. I wouldn't even record myself over a casket ever, okay? Some people maybe perhaps want to have that memory, but the decision to publish that, you crying over your husband's casket, and to publish his dead body on Instagram was a decision that was made by Erica, and we can watch that. Take a look.
Oh my God.
I love you.
Oh my God. Disturbing. Disturbing. Anyways, so shots fired. Oh.
But you're not stopping people from wanting to make all these memorial sites, all these tribute sites that your children could be praying at. And I love how you keep saying your daughter would be praying here, your daughter, like still setting up that default damsel in distress, forgetting all about the son, right? And knowing where somebody is buried does not mean that you have access. We know where Princess Diana is buried. We don't have access. And who would be, I've said this before, she keeps stealing from the narratives of what happens to Black and brown individuals. Who would be desecrating Charlie Kirk's grave? Who? Like, you have not spoken out about people losing their jobs because they decided not to feel how you don't even feel about your husband and mourn him in a way that you're not even mourning him. So who would be? People are indifferent. There are people who are pretending to care, and they're utilizing his death as a weapon to once again make themselves feel better and pretend as if their life isn't as mediocre as it truly is. My question is he buried? And no, I'm not saying that he's not really dead. Is he buried? Was he cremated? Is that the big secret? Are you not saying it publicly because his parents don't know where he's at? And it's a lot to presume that your children are going to be making regular visits to the gravesite. Let us truly, truly be honest with ourselves. How often is anybody really visiting a cemetery for the sake of a loved one? Especially a loved one that you would have lost before you had any truly cemented memories of them. And what type of memories are going to be submitted in her children right now? Because whatever's going on in the nanny's family, that's going to be their core memories right now. That's going to be their core memories right now. And if you notice, she never talks about both of her children grieving this way or both of her children. She positions it just right. She's trying to tap into the saviorhood, the white knight, the protection factor for her family because she needs a new narrative to be the victim of. Right. You're exactly right. That someone would destroy while the child is just sitting there praying. And why would a 2, 3, 4-year-old be just chilling there praying by themselves?
Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
How dare anyone other than me profit off of my husband's death? Because this was literally Erica Kirk at the end of that interview.
Will never back down. And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
And that's what we will say here on Outnumbered 2. God bless you. Hold up your book.
Stop in the name of God.
My message to them is to stop. But not you. My message to you is to go. Go buy my book. Unbelievable. Now, Erica didn't call anyone out by name, but anyone with a brain can assume that she was talking about people like Candace Owens, who lately has put out episode after episode after episode trying to get down to the bottom of Charlie Kirk's death. And what I find crazy is that Erica has more anger and fury towards people who are asking questions, some of them very valid ones, than she did for the person that allegedly took out her husband. I forgive him. And ultimately, are you genuinely surprised, Erica? This is your fan base. Your fan base cares more about conspiracy theories and pizza gates and Qs and elemental Ps than they do about actual policy. Your husband used Candace Owens to push him into fame. It was okay to use Candace Owens to push your bullshit agenda and all the insane things that would come out of her mouth. But now, let's pump the brakes. It doesn't work that way. You open up Pandora's box. You legitimize someone when it comes to the shit you want them to say. But now that they're opening Pandora's box on you, we need to close it? Ultimately, I have no skin in this part of the game. They could tear each other to shreds for all I care. But I do have some advice for you, Erica. Just answer her questions. It's not that hard. Because from an outsider's perspective, it looks sketchy. And it looks like the only reason you were chosen to be the CEO is so you can play the tearful widow card. And that doesn't sound like a job you got based off of merit, which we all know your husband was a champion of. Anyways, bye.
You want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
I'm sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating. The idea that she does not have time. She's done Hannity, she's done The Five, she's done Fox and Friends, she's done Outnumbered, she's done Megyn Kelly Live, she sat down with the New York Times, she made time to fly to DC for Sergio Gore to be sworn into the ambassador to India. She has also made time for an upcoming CBS News town hall sit down with Barry Weiss, which was filmed today. So Erica Kirk has time. It is not her priority to respond to the majority, to that point that people are making hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like, they made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. And we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. I want to be clear that Turning Point USA is my family. The Charlie Kirk Show is my family. She's just expanding the wings of people that we're not allowed to critique. Oh, I'm sorry. We actually are showing a clip of Rob McCoy defending a pedophile or trying to launder the reputation of that's fam. I'm sorry. We are actually pointing to the fact that we know for certain that this person or organization is sexual deviant. That's fam. That is my, don't you get me upset. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to be very clear here. This is why there are many people who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies, because what you are watching here is an unbelievably emotional response that is absent of any logic, okay? If you really care about your team, answer the questions so people don't think Turning Point USA looks so suspicious. Don't try to like mom the organization and say.
Points were made. But at the end of the day, the rhetoric and the protection still needs to be there. Candace, if you're going to take the gloves off, take the gloves off. The more this goes on, the more I'm inclined to believe that Erica and Charlie were headed for a divorce. You don't have to rewrite history. There are plenty of people who, before they went public regarding the end of a relationship, something tragic happened. You don't have to lie about it. You don't have to have people knee deep in your business, but you don't have to lie about it. This could have gone a whole lot more different. But the vigor, the rage, the anger, whatever Erica is trying to hide, this anger, this disdain goes deeper than that. This goes deeper than that. Now, on the outside looking in, do I believe that Erica Kirk actually loved, cared for, and respected Charlie Kirk? Absolutely not. But when you're the eugenics standard, and we see it all the time, where white women believe that they are supposed to be the choice of everyone, she's not. This is why she has the look that she has when people bring up Candace Owens. Her husband gave Candace the respect she wanted to have. Candace could be a mother and a wife and have a career. And a career alongside her own husband. Candace's voice could be respected. Candace could go and sit in the meetings right alongside of him. Or she was forced to say on camera that women can have a career later. That it's more important to Well, folks, once again, that's our finale on the Kirk Conspiracy for now. Any additional information, I'll bring it to you and we will discuss it. In about 30 minutes, I will be joining live discussing racial relations and who gets to speak for who over on the TikTok. So hopefully I'll see you there. Otherwise, enjoy yourself. Enjoy the holidays should you partake, and be good and kind to one another. Till next time.